Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a ROLINC video series. I know you're used to seeing our ROLINC Recruiting Roundup videos where I have other members of the ROLINC team join us to talk about hiring and recruiting trends. This is our first fireside chat with an outside expert bringing tax knowledge to our clients. So I'm super excited to learn from him. Today I have Alex Bray, partner at Aldrich Advisors at the Denver office. Alex, thank you so much for joining me.
Jasmine, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always great to talk about the recruiting and hiring space. I love talking about that. Obviously, I do it every day. But to have someone like you that can bring knowledge that we can't to our clients is just invaluable. Every time I chat with you, I definitely learn something new. So I'm sure that will be no different today. Just a little bit more about Alex and what he's been doing in the space before we dive in to the topic we're going to discuss, which is some policies that are directly affecting manufacturing, construction, and engineering businesses. Alex comes from 10 years of public accounting experience. Again, he's a partner right now focused in the R&D space, working with those manufacturing, construction, and engineering clients. He has done tax consulting, tax law, tax accounting with top 10 accounting firms, big and small companies, you name it. And he's got quite the list of degrees and credentials to go along with that. It's like you might be collecting them, I think, at this point. Right?
Yeah,
He's got right. He's got a master's of laws in taxation, a Juris Doctor, an MBA, and then currently, no big deal while he's a partner, is working on a Master of Engineering from the University of Colorado Boulder. So lot on your plate there, but you've got so much knowledge, I think, to bring to the table. So I'm really excited to dive into the conversation today. Yeah. So let's kick it off then. If you don't mind, I'd love to start with asking you, what's the hottest topic of discussion that you're having with your clients in the space right now as it regards to tax law and what to look out for?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you again, Jasmine. I will do my best to keep this as colloquial as possible. I am a tax nerd, so I can tend to nerd out on this stuff. So, I'll do my best. But my
nerding out's the best.
Right? So taking just a step back, my area of expertise is largely in the research and development credit, both at the federal and state levels. That's largely governed by Internal Revenue Code Section, IRC 41. IRC 41 has been around for 40 plus years. The R&D credit, hopefully all of our audience has had an opportunity to at least learn about the R&D credit. However, it's not done a great job of branding itself, and so it's actually kind of one of the more unknown credits as well. But for the last 40 years, it has been just one of the best vehicles for taxpayers. And the reason for that is, one, it rewards domestic innovation, which really is nothing but a benefit for the taxpayer, for the communities they serve in, and ultimately the United States for moving and keeping the U.S. forward ahead of, on the global landscape of technology and innovation. It was meant to incentivize trying new things, taking risks, and kind of pushing the boundaries of engineering, technology, the hard sciences. It was meant to benefit those taxpayers by, one, obviously a credit, but all of the underlying expenses that went into the calculation of the credit were also fully deductible. And we saw that kind of get turned upside down just a couple years ago under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. There was a large piece of that tax legislation intended to improve or kind of cover the shortfall of the various tax benefits that were listed in the TCJA. One of those being the modification of Internal Revenue Code Section 174. 174 governs research and experimentation expenses. For the last 70 plus years, R&E expenses could either be deducted or amortized over a 60-month period, really up to the taxpayers, what they thought worked best for their tax situation or their tax planning. Under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, starting in 2022, that option was taken away. So taxpayers could only amortize those expenses. They can no longer deduct them. So while the credit remains intact, and it is intact It's a permanent fixture. It was made permanent in 2015. But as far as the treatment of those underlying expenses, now they have to be amortized. And so that's really kind of thrown a huge ripple across manufacturing, engineering, construction, architecture, some of the biggest industries that we have here in the United States.
Wow. I'm assuming you've got clients that didn't even realize they were going to have these issues come up on the back end after this act went into play, right?
Yeah, we did our best to educate clients and prepare them for the years leading up to when it went into effect in 2022. But, I think out of sight, out of mind, it's still, if you're not in the tax space or in the tax legislative space, it's not something that you're necessarily thinking about. And that this is such an egregious piece of tax policy that I think a lot of people inside the Beltway, or maybe even taxpayers across the nation, just figured that this was going to get fixed, that this was something that was going to get repaired because it was so detrimental.
Which that just shows how complex these issues that are affecting these day-to-day businesses are, but it's not a quick fix. That's wishful thinking. I think this is a testament to it goes beyond just living within your own business, but thinking legislatively. These people that are making these laws need to see how it's affecting day-to-day businesses. So speak up, get involved. These are laws that are affecting you on your business. So we need to make sure everyone's getting involved. I think that's huge. But would love to hear more about what you guys as a team at Aldrich are doing, or what's being done to negate the challenges that are coming with 174 policies.
Absolutely. Personally, and along with one of my colleagues, another Aldrich partner, we have been very active with the ACEC, which is a group that represents engineering companies. And I'm also a member of the legislative committee for the AGC. We are actively speaking with legislators in Washington, trying to get them to this point. This was really leading up to this year where we really thought we had a lot of traction. A version of the bill in the House did pass this year in January that would repeal the effects of 174. Unfortunately, that did not pass the Senate. This time of year, it's an election year, so that's a whole other layer of nuance. People that, are actively trying to either put in a new administration or protect their own seat in Congress. So we have not gotten much done as far as actual legislation this year because it did not pass. However, there is an ongoing process to continue to contact legislators, let them know that this is very important. There's a potential they tend to push a lot of tax policy through at the end of the year. Then, doubling down on next year, yes, it starts the process over again, but 2025 is a pretty significant year as the end of 2025, most of the TCJA policy falls off. There's also some other historic tax policy that falls off at the end of 2025. And so we will definitely see a large piece of tax legislation go through next year. Hoping that this is part of it.
Fingers crossed. We see these big changes, right? And it's good to know. I think reassuring for businesses to hear that there are folks like you out there fighting the good fight to make sure that lawmakers are understanding what impacts this has on these businesses that are doing well and making our economy flourish and paying their people higher wages and doing the things that we want companies to be doing. They shouldn't be faulted for that. You said something in one of our conversations that really stuck out to me, that bad tax policy shouldn't be what puts someone out of business. And we're up against enough, I think, in the world of today. So things like tax policy really shouldn't be what's cutting a business down. So I hopefully will be hearing from you end of next year, and we can be telling everyone about these, new acts that are put into place, new bills passed. But I really appreciate having you on today. It's been great getting to learn from you. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think you hit the nail on the head. Is if you have a relationship with any of your legislators, please reach out, let them know that this is a significant detriment to continuing. Why would we ever want to stymie domestic innovation? Why would we ever want to slow that down or put an undue burden on the taxpayers that are keeping us moving forward? Let them know this is important and get out and vote. goes a long way.
Yes, it's that time, as much as we may not want to deal with it, but it is that time. So that's a good reminder as well. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining me again today. If you have questions about upcoming tax law, what we just talked about, and how that can affect your business, reach out to us or reach out to Alex. He'll be tagged in this video as well. And if you enjoyed the conversation and got something from this, we'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to join us and be an industry expert to help our clients in the manufacturing, construction, engineering spaces, we would love to have you join. So thanks again for joining us for this fireside chat with Alex Bray at Aldrich Partners. Thanks again, Alex.
Thank you.